This is Rose Cushing with Carolina Hoofbeats TV, and I am here today in Timberlake, North Carolina, with Jillian Whitlow at Empire Egyptians. Jillian and her husband raise gorgeous Arabians and have fabulous foals, and they have a stud who's a nationally ranked champion. So there's a lot of stuff to learn about the Arabians today. So Jillian, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I want you to tell me, and you feel free to hold the mic if you like, what's special about an Arabian? What makes you love them?
So for me, with the Arabians, they have the best heart. They are very family oriented, have a ton of personality. They're very smart, sometimes smarter than the rest of us, and they're very versatile. So all of those things combined, and then being able to make an actual living business out of them, makes them kind of the perfect horse for us.
And why did you choose Egyptian lines? What makes that special?
So for the Egyptians, because they date back to the desert Bedouin times, and they're able to, we can trace them all the way back, their pedigrees back to the original 5 stallions. So really preserving a piece of history, and we get to be a part of that. Our saying in our logo is breeding history back to the future. Right. So we're taking all of those lines and all of everything that the Egyptians are known for and preserving it and just enhancing it in modern times now.
And so I know that the Arabians are incredibly versatile animals, and I've seen them compete in, I guess, every discipline that there is out there. But one of the things that they're noted for is their stamina.
Yes. So endurance is big for them. They were bred as horses for war across the desert. So long races. They have incredible stamina. They just keep on going. A lot of people call them the Energizer Bunny because they do have a lot of energy to be able to burn. So, again, that's also another reason why I think Arabians get sometimes a bad rap because, one, they're very smart, and two, they have a lot of energy. So if you don't have something to keep them occupied and going and to use all that energy, then they do find things to get themselves in trouble with.
So tell us a little bit about your stallion that's down in Ocala.
Okay, so we have a homozygous gray straight Egyptian stallion. His name is Mayon El Nadir SA. We bought him when he was 6, so he got a little bit of a later start in his stallion career, but has really made a huge impact and big splash in the straight Egyptian, the just Arabian world, and even outside of those lines. He was 2021 Liberty champion at the Egyptian event. He was senior gold champion there, along with East Coast Championship shown in Ocala. He just went to Scottsdale, Arizona for the All Arabian Horse Show, and he won Senior Grand Champion Stallion there. And then he is planning on going to U.S. Nationals this year with Mike Wilson at Wilson Training Center. And he just started his performance career too. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to sneak down to Florida without anybody knowing. Yep. And I'm going to ride him, and I'm not going to tell anybody until I'm done so that the pressure is not on me.
Right.
But we're really, really excited. And his foal crops, along with his show career, have really been amazing in the industry so far.
How many foals has he sired now?
He has had 11 so far, and we have 3 more that are due this year.
All right.
So,
and you have a second stallion in Ocala, so tell us a little about him.
We do. He is actually the only lines that you can get from Qatar here in U.S. right now. He's 3, so he's an up-and-coming junior stallion. He is also gray, but he does have some of the black gene behind him, so we're kind of hoping that maybe he's not homozygous, but he is he's a little bit of a different style than Mayon. Mayon is this big bodied, very compact, very, very muscled, and Yaman is actually a little bit of the opposite. He's still he's very refined. He has a lot of tail carriage, but he's a little bit stretchier. So now with us offering the 2 stallions, you can breed to Mayon or you could breed to Yaman and have 2 different types of stallions and being able to produce and have some outcross blood. You know, we don't want to get so tight knit here on the farm that you're only breeding to 1 stallion, because then obviously you're talking about inbreeding, and we line breed and we don't inbreed.
Right.
So offering our junior stallion will really help the clients and ourselves be able to open that up.
That's really awesome. Now, for your horses that are here on the farm today, I know we have 2 new babies. So tell us about the first baby.
So the first one is actually a full sister to a gold champion filly from last year. She is 6 weeks old. And she is going to be gray because she was by Mayon, and her dam is black. She is owned by a set of clients in Durham, North Carolina. And they have 3 kids, and so they are all very interested and participate in the babies and all of that. So they are that family. This is their 3rd baby that they have produced, and they've sold 1. We are in the process of selling their filly from 2 years ago, and then they're trying to decide what they're going to do with this one. They may keep her as a replacement for the dam, because the dam is 18. And you know, our mares, they breed and thrive until they're in their mid-20s, so you know, that's not a terrible concern for us right at this point. But we actually just rebred the mare Bint, Aura, and we actually bred her to an outside stallion. They wanted to get a black baby, or at least try to be able to get a bay or a black to replace their mare, who is black. So we advised them to go ahead and, you know, look outside the world, and so I made some contacts and found a beautiful black stallion in Texas. And so, you know, our chances are high, but we might get that dilution and get a chestnut or a bay. But Bint normally produces a black, and then they turn gray. So I think our chances are pretty high to be able to get a replacement for them.
And if she breeds to a black stallion, will the baby be homozygous?
Not necessarily, because if the dam is heterozygous, then she would be, the baby would then have a possibility of having a heterozygous. It just ends up being less of a chance. So I tried to study color genes when I was growing up, and it's way more complicated than the big B, little b, little b, little b. It's way more complicated.
It is.
I actually did not know one of our old stallions, he was chestnut, but he was by and out of a gray. So it was 2 grays that produced a chestnut, and I did not think that there was any possible way for that ever to happen, because usually gray is a dominant gene, so it's difficult to get anything
small,
else.
Like 3%.
Yeah.
Of any
So
other color.
and then he always threw color. He never. It was always chestnut or bay. So I tried to study that stuff, and then I was like, whatever we get is fine. It's fine. It's too complicated.
Doesn't matter what you order.
Nope.
Mother Nature's in
That's
control.
right. That's right. Absolutely.
So that baby is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
and
you.
full of energy.
Yes, she is.
Now tell us about the second baby that we'll see.
So the second baby is actually Empire Egyptian's baby. So we lucked out, and you know, we have been really focused on servicing the clients and their mares. So the last couple of years, Paul and I here on the farm have not produced any of our own because we've been focusing on the clients and building their businesses. So last year we had a colt, of course, a very nice quality colt, but still a colt.
Right.
And then thankfully we actually leased Tahani from a farm in Texas. So she is here at least until 2023. We'll breed her again this year, but she is absolutely exquisite through her head. There really is not much wrong with that baby. She's 5 weeks old, and probably the best personality of a baby that I have ever even encountered. Just not even saying on my farm. We lay down with her. We sleep with her. I clipped her face while she was sleeping the other day, laying down,
Right.
Which has never happened in
know,
my
I saw
30-something
pictures
years.
and I'm like, wow.
30-something years, and I have never not had to hold them or, just like sedate them a little bit or something like that. But so, yeah, we're really, really excited. And now we're just kind of trying to figure out, do we keep her for ourselves? The mare is not ours. So we don't have, on Empire Egyptians, personally, we don't have a lot of breeding stock because we've sold most of our stuff. So we have, 4 to 5. And so, just trying to figure out, my mom's philosophy always was sell your best because that's what the market needs to see. Don't keep the best for yourself. But then when you come across something that's really the best, and then you're like, shoot,
I know.
do I sell it? Because I know that she's going to be very, very easy to sell. So, our philosophy here is everything is for sale. There isn't anything that doesn't have a dollar amount on it. And then we kind of go from there and see what we get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now we also looked at 2 younger grays. So we're like 3-ish.
Yep. So those are up and coming. One is my youngest daughter, who's 7. That's her mare. And we're going to breed the young junior stallion too this year. And see, the only way to really know how a stallion does, they can win national top and be just absolutely stunning. But if they don't produce well, then they're not a good stallion.
Right.
And we put them through the ringer. They've got to do different style mares. They need to also have personality. Because it is just Paul and I and my 2 young girls that work the farm, they've got to have really good personalities. If they're hard to handle or they're jerks, then we don't keep it here.
Right.
There's no point in keep breeding those lines because who wants to have that? So we're very thankful that on the property, even with our stallions, my girls can handle any of the horses if they needed to. Obviously, there are circumstances that you don't want them to,
Right.
but everybody is safe and easy enough that I can throw a lead line at somebody and say, I need your hands, here's a horse, and they're going to be safe enough. So those up and coming mares will kind of be my test mares for the junior stallion to see what happens. I do have them on the sale list as well because I don't want to breed so many myself that I can't sell my client horses because that's really my number one focus.
Right. And I know when I was breeding that the mare plays a large part in what the baby turns out to
It
be.
does.
But the stallion does mark them with specific things,
Right.
And sometimes it's their head, sometimes it's their color, or how much white markings they have on their bodies.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to see.
Yeah, I stand behind my stallion 1,000%, and it would be hard pressed to find something else that I would fall in love with. But that being said, if your mare does not have certain things, you can have the best stallion in the world, and he's may not be able to fix it. I know that there are certain things that Mayon can fix. He is an incredible mover. Yes. He is a powerhouse. So if you have a mare that doesn't have great movement, but has everything everywhere else, I know you can breed to him, and that's what you're going to get. They come out and they're these compact, beautiful bodied babies. Almost, they almost don't even go through those ugly, gawky stages. Right. They kind of grow all together. And Mayon never went through those stages either. So, you kind of know what they're going to look like when they come out. Now, the junior stallion, Yaman, he keeps doing these ups and downs. So I know that that's probably what his babies are going to do. And when I went to Santa Ynez to the satellite farm for Qatar, and I went and saw Yaman, he said he's not going to be put together until he's 8. So don't stress about it. But all of a sudden at year number 8, he's going to look like drop dead gorgeous. Yeah. So, you have to trust people that know more than you do in the industry too. And it's a big gamble when you're spending all that money too.
Yeah. And it's very true. I had a stallion and he was kind of gawky and ugly for 3 or 4 years. I mean, he wasn't ugly to me, but he wasn't what I wanted. But when he turned 5, his jaws filled out and his body filled out, and he looked like a magazine cover.
Right. Yeah.
So it really does make a difference.
And the straight Egyptians take a little bit longer to mature than your typical Arab, or even, your quarter horses. They come out and they're like these big bodied, ready to go, moving, muscled. The Egyptians take a little bit longer to mature out and kind of body out. And so we usually give them to about 7 or 8. But, Mayon's babies really come out. You saw on those 2 babies is that, they have muscle definition. And they come out like that. I'm like, it's like a 3-week-old baby that comes out of their moms.
Right.
But, the mares play a huge role, too. I think, I see both sides of it because I'm a stallion owner and a mare owner. But you can really see, that one, you can see that it's Mayon's babies, but this one's just a little bit different because that's what the mare looks like. And, we've bred Mayon even to outside of the Arabian world, and he bred a quarter horse last year, and she is just the cutest little Arab, half Arab cross. And they said we got the best parts that we wanted. We wanted more movement. We got that. We got personality. They're like, everybody walks in the barn and they know to go to Rosie because she's just the sweetest and has the most personality. And they said it's funny because she's on a quarter horse farm and she's the only one that has her tail sticking straight up.
Right,
So, that Mayon is right there. So
she commands that attention.
Yes, she does. She does. We want you to enjoy your horses, because what is the point in investing in something that's tangible if you can't enjoy that side of it?
I agree. Yeah. And I was just sitting here thinking, if you buy like an expensive exotic car, you're not going to drive it whenever you want to.
Right.
And
right.
A horse is something you can. You
right.
know, you can take him to the show ring one weekend and bring him home and ride him around the pasture and
That's
the
right.
field the next.
That's right.
So there's such a wonderful investment, and the companionship and the bond that you form with them is just, there's nothing like it. There's no way to tell anybody that's not had one except to buy one and try, because it's amazing.
Yes.
And Arabians do have a big heart, and they're full of love, and they want to please you.
Yes, they do. They because they're so family oriented and lived in the tents with the Bedouins and very humanized, they trust us. They are part of the family. I had some friends that just came over this weekend, and, they don't know about horses. I love my friends. They support me. They said, we have no idea what you do. We don't know why this is exciting, but we love it for you.
Yeah.
And then they come and they enjoy the horses when we're just having, a dinner or something. And it's nice that I can share that in a different way without it being this like sales pitch, which I have not like sold any horses to my friends, but
Sure.
it's for them to be able to come and just enjoy and see a little slice of what our world is. And when people come on the property, they're like, oh my God, it's just so peaceful, so relaxing. I could sit here and listen to all of the sounds and listen to my horses eating their hay, and that would put me to sleep.
Absolutely. There's something so common and so
It
tranquil
is.
about it. And horses are so welcoming, and they welcome us into their world and their lives, and they let us come in and be part of that. And that, that's something hard to find in humans sometimes.
It is. And they have to trust you.
Yes.
Especially when you're foaling out these mares, it's a very compromising situation for them. I've had some circumstances, even this last one that was, I had never foaled her out. Yeah, I leased her. So I didn't really know how she foaled out, and I had heard a little bit of some mixed stories because sometimes that happens.
Sure.
And I went to go walk out of the stall after I knew everybody was okay, and the mare had stood up and everything was good, and she wouldn't walk over to the baby. And I was like, okay, we're not doing this. Like, we're not going to reject. Like, we're going to be okay. And so I just walked over with her to the baby and put her face down on the baby, and I rubbed the both of them at the same time, and you could just see this sense of relief. And I went to go step back, and the mare just took my jacket and grabbed a hold of me like, don't leave me. So I think that they know how to trust. I think they teach us so much about that.
I agree.
They know what your blood pressure is. They know how to calm you. The herd family dynamic is very interesting, sitting and watching them. So we are very lucky that we have 30 horses. They all live in small herds, 4 or 5 horses, some only 2, but to watch that dynamic teaches us a lot about what our daily lives are. And I think especially even as having 2 young girls, they're learning about that stuff and about confidence and healing and trust and all of that without knowing that that's what they're actually doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm working on a documentary, and one of my favorite quotes from one of the gentlemen I interviewed is that horses teach us how to be humans. And that's so deep and so right.
So an interesting story. My mom passed away. It will be 4 years in April. It was sudden, and she lived on the property. And my mom had an amazing bond with horses, any horse. She could walk up to any horse and be able to break through whatever the barrier was. And she just had that quality about her. And when she passed away, she passed away in her house in the middle of her sleep. She just laid down and took a nap. And I had told my husband, I said, I don't want to watch them bring her out of the house. So I turned so that I could watch the horses instead, because I knew that was going to bring me comfort. Well, wouldn't you believe it, is that when they put her in the hearse and they went to go take her off, all the horses, even all the way in the back 50 acres, everybody ran to the furthest point of their pasture, and the 2 front pastures actually escorted my mom's hearse out of the driveway and watched her go out until they couldn't see her anymore. And that was actually harder than probably me watching her come out of the house.
Trying not to cry.
But
yeah.
I think that was one. It was an amazing, looking now 4 years later on the other side of things now, for that to be their final gift to my mom was an amazing thing. And for me to be able to witness the connection that my mom had with these horses. And sometimes it's hard to see for yourself. I think that I have it. I know that I have it. My horses, we are mutual benefit of calming each other. And it's also my connection to my mom. This property and the connection that I have with my mom still to this day, when something happens and I'm like, Mom, why did you, and, it's an amazing thing. And these horses really have taught, even through grief, how to be able to still just be able to pick yourself up and move through the amount of grief every day after I lost my mom. And I said, I don't want to be around the horses. And, then it's just, well, that's silly.
Yes.
This has been your life for 38 years, and this has been your mom's life, and this is what she left you. No, you get to do what you want with it. And so I have that little intuition that my mom has, and I'm hopeful that it will keep on going as I progress. We're constantly learning, and but I know now that she's in whatever form that she's in at this point. She's helped guiding all of that, and still a part of the horses every day.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
I agree
yeah.
100% with that. So if customers and potential customers and folks out here watching want to reach you, how would they get in contact with you about a breeding or a purchase?
Okay, so if you want to come and just come and meet the horses, we're always open. You can, Rose has my contact information, my cell phone, my email address. We do have empireegyptians.com website. We're on Instagram and Facebook, but we're always open. There's a reason why we don't have a gate at the end of our driveways, because we want people coming in. Somebody said yesterday, they're like, it's a revolving door around here. I said, my horses love it.
Yeah.
They love the company. They love, meeting new people, all of that. If you don't know where to start, we can set you up and we can show you a couple of different options. And we have horses in all types of budgets and ranges and goals, and depending on what your ultimate tax deductions and investment-wise purposes are.
Absolutely. So. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know Jillian Whitlow today. And for more information on Jillian as a horsewoman and just general information, you can catch her podcast on Today's Horsewoman. And that's on everywhere that you download your podcasts from, every major streaming network out there. And it's also on Facebook, Today's Horsewoman. And I hope you've enjoyed watching, and that you'll contact Jillian and come out and see these magnificent creatures. Even if it's just to see what they look like, it's worth the drive out. So thanks for watching.
Coming into the ring is Maya. Here. He's a 10-year-old straight gypsy stallion by Ramsey Mishal here out of Myanmar.